Hey, what's up turtles? It's Krik here with Black Owl Outdoors. Today I'm going to be doing a video on how to tie the trucker's hitch. I've also seen it called a trucky hitch. There's a little bit of variability within this that I've seen on some videos, but I'm going to be doing it the way that I like and the way that I prefer and I think is the coolest and most effective. And I'll talk about where that variability comes into play once I get this up and explain how to do it. So to start, you need a piece of cordage long enough that's going to work for this between your two fixed points. And to start, you got to establish an anchor. And the trucker's hitch is really good if you want to secure a load down on top of a car. It's where it came from, I believe, from truckers doing this, securing a load down on the trailer. You can imagine if you're putting bags or anything on top of your car, on the rails, on the a gear basket on top of a Jeep, anything like that. You can even use it for a taut line or a ridge line. But there's other methods I like more than this for that. But nonetheless, basically it's giving you a mechanical advantage to allow to really torque and pull on your line to make it really tight and really secure your load without moving. So to start, I had to get an anchor, which I've done on this tree. Take the rest of my cordage, come over here to my second tie down point. Once I have that, I'm going to take my working end, which is here in my right hand, throw it over the line the whole way completely. So I have something that looks like this. This is my working end hanging down. I'm going to cradle a little bit in the middle of it, towards the anchor, because if you imagine the gear might be all right here, this is your second tie down point. Where this is going to happen is going to be closer, not to the middle. It's going to be on the other side of the gear. But basically, once you have it right here, you want to take the hand that's that's on the side of the anchor. Here is my working end, here is my left hand working here. My anchor's on this side of it, so I'm taking it in my right hand in this case. I'm going to form a little loop in the line by basically just taking the line and just twisting it over itself once. And I've created this loop right here. And once I've done that, I'm going to take the other part of the line, still leaving my working end hanging in the middle, grab that line, and once I have that here, I'm going to pull the line through and at the same time grab my working end on this side and then pull tight. And basically what it's done is give me, this is the pulley right here, if you will. So that's helping me increase my mechanical advantage by going around the tree and then having another point to torque back. And because I'm using this paracord, there's not a lot of friction on this line, as opposed to if you're using like jute twine or something else, a different type of rope or cordage that has friction. This step might not be necessary, but because I'm using paracord, there's not a lot of friction, and I know it doesn't want to hold this as well. I'm going to put a half hitch with this loop that I've created. That's basically right now is just hanging out, just sort of waste at this point. I'm going to put a half hitch so I know this isn't going to come undone whenever I torque really hard on it, and that offers a lot more security. And at this point, I can just really torque down on the line, and it's not coming apart, and I'm really getting this tight. Really getting this tight. And there's a few ways then you can finish this off. You can do a half hitch over here. Here's my working end. And I'm going to hold that because this is under pressure. I'm going to hold that here. Take my working end, slide it under. And that's holding that really well. And then to undo this, just take it here, releases that, pull it through the loop, and undo this half hitch I've done here, which isn't necessary like I mentioned. And the beauty about this is that it just comes apart. It just comes apart. Now the variability that I mentioned before is that people would tie an overhand knot in here or a slip knot in the line acting as the pulley. But the reason I chose to show this method is because that's not necessary, and it comes undone. If this is going to be exposed to the elements and water will get, and maybe the line's going to swell, it can be really difficult to undo knots or hitches. But this method, you shouldn't have that problem. I'm going to do it one more time. Go around my second anchor point, take my working end, throw it over the line, let it hang, do its thing for now, give myself a little bit of slack to work with. And the hand that is on the side of the anchor point, my first anchor point, which is my right hand in this instance, I'm going to take the line, form a little loop in here, just by twisting it once on itself. You got a little loop. My left hand here is the other part of the ridge line, if you will. I'm going to hold my hands through here. Here's the other part. I'm going to pull the line through. Pull it through right here. I'm doing this slow so you can see it. And I'm going to grab the working end while holding that loop I pulled through, the loop I made in the line. And you can see how that just really cinches down on itself. And you can stop at this point, depending on the piece of cordage you have. Like I said, you can stop at this point and this will hold. But if not, if you're using paracord like I am, and I know it doesn't like to hold all the time, is I can just do a little half hitch. Cinch that down. That's going to give me a lot more protection. It's going to stop this from coming done. And at this point I can torque down the line, pull it as tight as I want without having it come off. And I finished it with the half hitch, but if you don't want to do that, if you feel more secure about doing it some other way, or securing this end, excuse me, you can go around your anchor point if you have some extra cordage and finish it off just in sort of a normal fashion, if you will. You can finish it off just by going here and then just doing another half hitch, if you will, and friction's going to hold that good, hold that real well. And to undo that again, really nice, untie that once, go around. Quick releases are really nice. Let this come over on itself. Take this out of my pulley. Undo my half hitch here. And that's a loop I created. Now just pulling it off, comes right apart. Really effective, really cool hitch to do. This is the trucker's hitch. This is Krik signing out with Black Outdoors. Later, turtles.